Good morning, Scano, Sego, Ani. Thank you so much for joining us today in this moment. And for those of you that will be joining us later on through this month or any other time that you visit this video, welcome. And thank you for spending this time with us. Yoa.
Good morning, everyone. And today is when it's surreal. We always say it's a beautiful day. To to the world, they always grumble and complain. We must learn how to give thanks every morning. And when we start our day in a good way, things will follow through. So we always like to say good day. And let's begin with the good words that needs to be said before all else. And so I want to share with you how we greet our day. And in this way, we give thanks to all those that have contributed to helping us to be here today. And so we honor and respect all creation. And so we always start with our mother, the earth. And that way, we always want to thank, just like you would thank your mother for giving you many things, especially love, unconditional love. She cares for everyone, and it doesn't matter who is there. She loves us, and she supplies a lot of creation through her love. And now those things is what is needed for us to exist. And so I will do it in my language first, and I will explain to a little. De tino alare ni eat ni staha yon hansari. De tino alare oh ne rasa. De tino lana jon hekwa. De tino lare kai sa. De tino lare grunda santana guerrilla sa. De tino lare otit no asa. De tino lare ganyandira. De tino lare sigadnigora. De tino lare itiswatarati wears. De tino lare kayeli ni walake. De tino alada ne sonkotia de canigalaqua, de tino alada ne onke sota satagalaqua, de tito alada ne ogistagaroni, de tito alada ne soquiant diso. You may have noticed my voice gets very shaky because it's filled with so much love. You know, when somebody loves you so much and gives so much for you to be here, it's very emotional that someone cares so much for you. And so when I hear the opening address, I am so grateful when I hear it because I know I'm never alone in the work that I do because I have help around me, all around me. And so first of all, I give thanks to our mother, the earth, because without her, we could not exist. And it's sad because people think they can exist without her. All the love that she gives comes from that deep love for everyone. And that is giving love through all creation. And all creation receives that love to help us. And so we have many things. We have all the plants, the trees, the meadows, the forests. We have the clouds. We have the seasons. We have the moon. We have the stars. We have the sun. We have your guardian beings. We have the plants. There is so much. It would take almost 2 hours to give this to thank each and every one. And so I'm just sharing a bit how much it is so important for me to say good morning. And in that, I give those good words to you so it fills your heart and it fills your spirit with love, knowing you are cared for and that the work that you do is very important for the coming faces. And so that is why we do these words before all else. We thank those that help us. You may not have thanked the tree. You may not have thanked the insects or the flies or the bugs and all these things. Instead, you may have complained. And so it is time when you look at these things, we have to bite our tongue and think of those, how they sacrifice their lives for us. The fish, how they're cleaning the waters because man has forgotten. How the birds pick up the things that people leave as garbage that may harm another child. We look around and we see how the rain comes to clean the land, the air, and the water, and yet you hear people complaining. And we give thanks for the coldness that comes because it puts down the virus that man will create. And yet we complain. We want it to be hot. We always want it to be hot. And, as a result, when you wish it for it to be hot, it causes chaos. There will be abundance of pests. There will be abundance of things that can harm our trees, our plants, our food. And so this is why we need the real cold. We need the changing of the season. So please understand that each play a very important role in maintaining our life. Even Grandmother Moon, right now she's telling us that you have had few days of challenges. And this, we still look to the moon, to the trees, to all parts of life, of creation, to help us to be prepared for each day. Be prepared for each season, because they tell us people have forgotten how to listen to Mother Earth. And the changing of the winds, it tells us what kind of weather it's going to be without. We had weather announcements long before the TV came about or the radio. It is because they care for us and they want us to have a good day. And so with all those things, how can you be grumbling and complaining when everything has been given to help you, to support you, to give you a good life and for your children? And this is why we have made agreement with with someone that has helped you so much. And we never forget that. And so we must bite our tongue sometimes when it gets rough. But we know we have to go through rough times in order to use our skills to breathe. Many of you have forgotten how to breathe, and that has caused a lot of health problems. Many of you have referred to use a lot of negative language and swearing. And you see, all of us are sacred beings. And anytime we do things that is against goodness and sacredness, it affects our body. People are now understanding that when you are not in balance, when you are not being from the heart, the goodness and kindness, your body starts to take on health problems. And that is so sad. And that's why we have our stories. We have the Gunalegoa. We have our messages. We have our ceremonies. All this reminds us on how to have peace. And having peace is understanding that we have 3 laws, and man has forgotten that. The first law is the spiritual law. That's very important because our bodies were made spiritually. It was to be sacred, but we're not being sacred. The next law is the Mother Earth. To us, it's Mother Earth. To the world, it would be the universe. And when we do things that is not right with the universe, one day she's going to change and put her hands on her hip and say, enough. Enough of harming the future for those children that are to come. It's just like any mother, any grandma that wants to protect those children that are coming. And so she'll be cross. And that means her wind may come just like the strong winds have come. Because we've forgotten how to take care of those that are coming, those children. We must not destroy anything that will be for them, their resources. And that's why when the first visitors came, we had what you would call those treaties. And those treaties was in recognition of protecting the future for the children. Not for us right now, but for the children. And that's why it's so important, because when you have peace, peace is very simple. It means going without a lot of things. Because the most important thing that you have been given is your life and the things around us. Yes, sometimes it may be hard. But why? Why not? Because in hard, we learn how to appreciate. having to do labor. We are creating a world where we're creating everything's going too instant, too fast, and as a result, we're going to have a lot of health problems. Our bodies was made to be doing. To you, you may refer it as chores. Our body is sacred. And so when we're in movement, it creates wellness. And so I give thanks that my body, every day I give thanks to my body. This is my best friend. And if I am not giving thanks, my body will break down. And that's the best medicine. The best medicine is to say to yourself, I am very grateful for today. That's the best medicine all. It builds up your immune system. So if you complain and complain and complain, you're going to have backaches, you're going to have health problems, your liver, your kidneys, everything is starting to break down because you are unhappy with this very special gift, this sacred gift of you. You are sacred, each one of you. And when you do not follow the heart of self-care, then things start to break down. So that is why we listen to creation. If it gets cold out, it means to bundle up or not to turn up the heat. What it means is you're to maintain the cold. Learn how to go out first thing in the morning to build yourself, to build up your immune system. Learn how to take cold showers because that also builds up your immune system. All these things that we have been doing is now being validated. And that's the best news I've heard today of this year, 2024, because they told us one day all our knowledge is going to be validated. And so it is. And so I give thanks for you to be here today because our two Rowampum talk about we have a way of life that in our canoe has the culture, has everything that we need. We have the medicines, we have everything. And in your canoe, you also have your way of life. And so we are only to go side by side and share, not to go and say, come into our homes and tell us that's not the way it should be. You got to change this room. You got to make this room into, and that's how the metaphor is. You have come to our Mother, the Earth home. She has provided everything for your well-being, but you have come and you have changed the whole room. You have changed the rivers. You have changed the forests. You have changed the land formation. When all this was created, you're going to have big wins because you took down those things that was to protect you. You're having more floods because you want it man-made when Mother Earth had a way of making that flow of that water was not to harm a lot of creation. So you see, we have to look at what we're doing to our mother's home for her children, and that is your children, because all our treaties was self-care, resources for all, and most of all for the future children. What we are doing today is causing more health problems. And it's sad because we put fear in them right at the beginning. And that is what we're not supposed to be doing. Every day that you turn on the TV, there is fear. And that has caused you, what is a child? They sit and you put them in front of the TV, and it starts traumatizing them. And so you have living in fear. Many of you have fear. And so this is why I am very grateful that our Mother, the Earth, is really, she's kind of saying, in a good way, she's saying, I'm going to give you some time out, just like any grandma or mother. She wants to look after her children. And if you don't clean up your room, you're going to be what? Disciplined. It's only natural. And yet people complain, why are we having fires? Why are we having floods? It's because we haven't cleaned up our room.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, you're amazing. My cheeks hurt when Renee speaks. After my cheeks hurt after Renee speaks, and this is one of those videos and times together that we should mark this and keep this in our favorites. Just to remind us on those days when we wake up and we're there's some challenges in starting our day, and Nyawa, Grandma Renee, for reminding us in your opening and acknowledging all of the natural world around us to support us on this journey. And so good morning again. I'm Jody Harbour. I'm one of the co-founders with Grandmother Renee of Grandmother's Voice. We're really happy today to be in relationship with our guest here, Margret Wallis-Duffy. We met through a sister, right? Faith, I believe introduced us. So shout out to Faith, Nyawa, again for the sisterhood and connection, and making sure that we're walking the path the best way that we can with each other, and just really growing together and sharing knowledge, sharing space, and including us. We're in a really beautiful time, as Grandmother Renee mentioned, that our understandings, Indigenous understandings and knowledge, and our knowledge keepers and elders and grandmas that carry this knowledge and that have preserved this knowledge get recognized in a time when there's a beautiful shift in our country to start to really take care of the people. And so, Margret, I'll give you, take it over and tell us who you are and share this movement. I know you have a busy day today, so we'll have you, for a few minutes and telling us, this beautiful movement that you made that we're really honored to walk alongside with you.
Well, thank you, Jody. And thank you, Grandmother Renee, for your words and for our conversation before we went live. It really does mean a lot to me. I had the privilege of meeting Jody, as she mentioned, a couple of years ago, and I attended an event that Dennis had that you had with Dennis. And as a therapist, a massage therapist, and somebody who lays their hands on people and really believes in preventative and integrative health, what I learned from that day and spending that day with all of you was humbling, it was enlightening, and it was inspiring. And so why am I here? I'm the visionary behind the first ever Preventative Health Awareness Month and Movement, or otherwise known as PHAM, PHAM. And just about a year ago, I submitted an application to have it recognized by Health Canada, because I felt that there's never been a more important time, and Grandmother Renee actually talked about that, never been a more important time in history that we not only wake up to our wellness and honor ourselves, the house that we live in, be accountable for our well-being, but to also elevate one another in doing that and our world together. And so when this year came around, because last year was just the first year, and this is a grassroots campaign. This is all volunteers, but we're bringing together over 40 healthcare professionals from all different disciplines to really try to help stock the preventative health toolbox with education in all aspects of health: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial well-being. And for me, I reached out to you, Jody, because I knew that we needed to walk shoulder to shoulder with Grandmother's Voice and the Indigenous peoples, because preventative health started, as Grandma Renee spoke about, from you. And we have a lot to learn from one another. And I love the analogy of the canoes and rowing side by side together. And so it's a great privilege and honor, as we launch Preventative Health Awareness Month here in February online, and then the movement that will continue all year long and for years to come, that we're doing this side by side and together, and honoring the wisdom and knowledge that you have, so we can learn from it, but also so that we can help everyday Canadians, every person, feel more empowered Self-care is so critical, and we do need to take some ownership. But I think we've lived in a society and a system where we're not showing how. We've forgotten, some of the basics. Grandmother Renee talked about the breath. She talked about, the cold and what it does for our health. There's going to be so much education shared and self-care this month that I know will resonate with you. And we are looking forward also to tuning in. I know you've got content created all month long at Grandmother's Voice that we're going to be watching as well. And I think, I believe we're better together as one. And so I'm privileged and grateful and honored to be here as part of this community, but working shoulder to shoulder with you. And I cannot wait to see where this goes and grows from here. So thank you, Jody.
Thank you, Margret. Yes, we're excited. You've given us something to really, I guess, put on our radar. How can we start to really implement the truths of Indigenous people where we fit into the system that was not truly designed to support us. So how do we really do this as a movement of the people? And that's what we do. That's what we do as Indigenous, as an Indigenous organization that didn't exist, and so this is a really great time for all of us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And reconciliation is complex, and we have to do these things. We have to roll up our sleeves and learn and grow from one another and move forward. And as Grandmother Renee said, the time is now, and I'm excited to be able to do that. So for those that are watching, I think you put up the website, but you can go to wallisforwellness.com and click on the PHAM button. You'll see, if you scroll down, make sure you join the family, join our family. Everyone is welcome. There's a blog that we're going to be contributing content to, and so is Grandmother's Voice, and will all year long. There's a calendar of events there, and you will see Grandmother's Voice is included in there, and along with so many other healthcare professionals that believe in this preventative, integrative approach of equality and togetherness. So we're really honored.
Right? That's that wholeness.
Yes.
Right? That wholeness. And so you have a flag or something?
Yes. Oh, yes. Let's not forget.
Show us this flag that you're all excited about.
You know what? Let me grab it, because I should have had it right handy. Give me 1 second. Let me grab it.
Yeah, no problem. She's been talking about a flag that they're passing out, and I'm not exactly sure where you can pick them up, but probably in our area. Yeah, so, there you go.
So the reason I created this is because sometimes we need a visual cue to ignite conversation. And when we talk about our future and our children, I want our children to have these conversations with their mothers and grandmothers and fathers, that it matters to look at prevention, that they matter. And so I created, thanks to the generous donation of 3 sponsors that made this happen, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do this. We've got 5,000 of these flags to hand out. You can I can drop some off to you for sure. There's a hub in Georgetown called Lila's House, a wonderful little coffee shop that's going to have them when they're open. You can pick them up. If you would like to have a bunch for a group, for a school, for a sports team, what we are asking you to do is to take a picture or a video, and maybe when you're doing something that's good for your health, that's good for Mother Earth's health, that you take a picture or a video and you tag PHAM and PHAM flag, so that we can continue to spark conversation and to get awareness of the importance of this movement moving forward. So we have the flags, over 5,000 of them, and if we need more, we'll get more, but reach out and we'd be happy to get you some.
Amazing. Thank you, Margret. So 2 things. I wouldn't be me if I had to speak my truth. I'd be like, maybe next year we can work on a digital flag, because those will really help our Mother Earth.
Have one. We do have one. And I agree with you, a digital flag. But the reason this year we did this is because sometimes we need to have something tangible.
I hear you.
For people to pay attention. But I hear you.
Oh, I know. However, so the artwork or whatever it is, maybe something that we can even put there digital, that we can just like a cover, that'd be great too for next year too, right? I don't even know if that exists. I'm not that person, but I know the realities of really trying to make a movement and bring awareness is what our reality is.
Yes.
And how do we move people? So I'm really excited for this opportunity, and knowing that it's all about making change, and it's all about awareness. It's truly is. It starts with us individually. So I appreciate your friendship, your connections, and your heart, and the energy that you put into this. It's really it does make a difference. One person can make a difference. So
You know what?
yeah.
I said this to Grandmother Renee before we started. It is, I've known this because for 32 years, the power of community, I see it in my day to day. But I will say it's still humbling. I actually get emotional. It's humbling. And I'm unbelievably grateful to see in just over a year, the rippling effect, this grassroots thing, we can make a difference. One person can cause so much to happen. And that's inspiring. And that's why I'm so humbled to be the leader of this, but I'm not doing this alone. And the more that people that join this movement, the more we're going to be better together.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good luck with everything. I appreciate you staying this long.
Of course.
And we'll watch for everything that you're doing, and we'll tag and we'll stay connected.
You bet. Happy fam, everybody. Happy fam.
Yes. It's all about family, like you said, right? So
okay.
Amazing. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful. That's so nice to continue to grow and walk with people, with those that are doing, really great work. And, we're waiting for Dennis to pop in. He's on the road as usual, on the road again. So he'll be popping in a few minutes. We're really blessed right now as an organization, as we continue to grow. We have a cohort, I'm going to shout out because I know they're watching right now, of students that are in social work from Laurentian University. We're really blessed to be able to work with, alongside them as they continue to learn on their journey of understanding Indigenous ways of knowing, in their learning and their practice, and how they're going to, change or be in the world with the knowledge that isn't readily available, to the people who want to make change in that space. So I want to acknowledge the hard work that they do, working alongside Grandmother's Voice and learning with our elders, and just knowing that there's so much that we need to do to continue to support each other and share knowledge. So we have this year created some space and some items and some social media. So follow along with us this month. They've prepared some really great content to share that are lived realities of Indigenous people. So I see Dennis has just popped in, so we'll bring him into the room now. And hey, there you go. Hey, Dennis.
Good morning.
Joining us today.
Hello. Hi, Renee.
I hope you're not driving. You pulled over?
I pulled over.
Amazing.
I'm glad we can hook up anywhere.
Yeah, right?
On the side of the road, anywhere, as long as we get a signal.
Right? So yes. Thank you for jumping in with us today. We've been working alongside you, Dennis, for a couple of years now, and the support that you've brought to our community members and the people we're in relationship with, our healthcare, everyone out there that's really trying to take care of themselves and each other. So thank you for coming in and having, share some, I guess, a perspective or whatever comes to you about how important self-care is. Because that's what this month really is about.
Yeah. And that is important. Self-care for everybody. And I want to reference back to what we talk about. I am land, I am medicine. And we have all of what we need inside of us to take care of ourselves. We have a connection, a powerful connection to the earth, to the land, and to the universe, and to everybody around us. And if we use that in a good way, in a collectively good way, we can connect into our own medicine and into the medicine of others. When we do therapy, psychotherapy, it's much more than attending to the mind, to the emotions, to the psychology of it. It's holistic. It touches every part of you when you are dealing with trauma. And that's the area that I work in, is trauma, and how the body, how the bones, how the muscles, how the blood, how the cells, everything holds all of that inside. When we can listen into it in a focused, caring way and tap into the medicine, we can still start to heal that not only that trauma, but we're healing our bodies. I was speaking to a group of people who had experienced residential school, and they are struggling within the healthcare system at many levels, whether it's at the, going to a hospital, going to a clinic, or even trying to access home care. And and they link their physical health and what they're going to from the years and years of carrying that unresolved trauma of residential schools. And they are seeking ways to prevent that in the next generation by encouraging people, heal, start to talk about these things, start to talk about your trauma, because it's going to lead to physical health conditions later on in life. And if we take care of ourselves, if we do all that kind of work today, we are using a preventative care approach to prevent illness. Because once we start having illness, we will be getting a pill. And once we get a pill, it leads to being ill. And then that medication will have side effects, and then we'll need other medication to combat the side effects. And pretty soon people are taking 20 pills a day, and that's not good for the body. So preventative care, something traumatic happens, we go through a loss, we go through something that's life altering, and it changes the way the way we see life. We self-care, we talk to somebody, we attend to that pain somehow, so that it does not manifest in the body and causes illness. So let's tap into the medicine that we have naturally. We have a pharmacy inside of us. We have the medicine, but we also have access to the land and the medicine that it offers. So we combine the outer medicine out there on the land with the medicine in us, and it's going to connect to that. It's going to bind to that and release its healing properties. So that's the basic message I want to share today. And I know it's a short message, but I have to continue my journey. And I wish everybody well on their own journeys of wellness and health and healing. Kichime Gwich.
Yeah, what, Dennis? Amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Right? Short messages. I love that. Right? Renee's always about less words is more.
Yes.
Get to the point, Jody. Right? Yeah, I appreciate the truth, and that's a big part of the struggles for Indigenous people, is the fact that our systems are so caught up still in how do we do it? How do we support them? How do we, create this pathway for Indigenous people to, be cared for? Those are realities, and in his message there, that's what I heard, was that our systems still do not support Indigenous people in the way that it should. And that is a reality in the work that we're doing as Grandmother's Voice, even in our region, is how do we fix that gap? How do we how do we move in and create opportunities to support frontline workers and healthcare providers in returning back to, Renee, you say your responsibilities as a human being, and knowing that there's still a lot of work to do and knowledge to support that care for people who are marginalized because of history or marginalized because of society. And so this is something that we're continuously supporting. I know, Renee, you support a lot in organizations, and even now in as a leadership role in organizations at the the level at the top where policies are being made, and how do we really do this? And you do remind us as much as possible, we have to take care of the people. The people who are taking care of the people have to be cared for and have to have those tools for self-care and reminders. It's not easy to take care of people. So this is I am really grateful that this is an opportunity for us to start to share knowledge, share what we know our elders have been sharing with us. So is there something you'd like to add to the conversation that's been happening, Renee?
Yes, it's good to hear the land speaking through us. Is what they tell us, whatever happens to the land is happening to us. And last night I was talking to my great grandchildren as I was taking my grandson to his singing practice. Singing practice is also medicine, and he sings in the language, and he belongs to a part of a men's group that they sing songs, and what they do, it's like a singing society, and what they do is they it's sort of like a fundraiser, what you would call a fundraiser. Whenever they're asked to go and do some entertainment, a sing or a social, whatever, the money goes to helping somebody else. And that is a very important gift that I feel so proud of my great grandson, that he's contributing to the wellness of the community. And what he's doing is he's singing those songs that can make the people's heart feel filled with kindness and goodness again. And so they'll help out anybody. They'll help out people that have lost a loved one, that have gone through an accident, to give them some support. And so I'm very proud that what he's doing at a very young age. And this is what we need to do with our children. Our children are lost because they're not asked to do volunteer work at a very young age. At a very young age, they are no longer doing chores. And that's the saddest thing, because what we're doing is taking away their life skills, their purpose in life. My grandma would always talk about how important, and I never grumble because I got to do dishes. Oh, I just love doing dishes, or sweeping the floor, or cleaning, because that is helping my body. I don't have all this modern technology because my body needs to work. And I love it because my body can still squat. My body can do these things that people younger age do not want to do. And that's what we are told. If you're not going to be doing, by the time you're 40, you won't be doing. Isn't that powerful? The more you sit, the more you break down your body. The more you, as they say, the more you play. They say there's going to come a trickster in our lives, and this is going to take over our minds. And be careful these tricksters that can harm your children, because they said in time the children will do the killing. Look what we're creating. We're creating games that causes war. And so they're having war in their minds. And so we have to think what we're doing to our children. And playing, I was once asked by a young girl, I go be with all ages, and I asked if I could be a fairy godmother, what wish could I grant you? She said, I would love if my parents would play with me instead of playing with their phones. And that's so true. Our body needs relationship, communication. That's how we become well. And they call it visiting. So how many of you gone visiting? Oh, I was busy on the last few weeks, last few days, because I've had a lot of loss lately. In order to make my body feel better, I went and visit. How many of you have gone visit? That's the most important thing. And so when we went visiting, I picked up my great-grandchildren, we went visiting. And what you did was we went and played games. We had laughter, and all the kids were involved in, and we had laughter. See, laughter is another part of medicine. Self-care. Kids will do that. What they say to you is, come play with me, play with me, play with me. And so we need to get down on the floor and play with them. This is why a long time ago we didn't have, as you say, life insurance or benefits. If you took care of your child and spent a lot of time with your child, that child will really take care of you. And because of that, my dad, when it was time for him, when he got sick, after many, many years providing for us and taking care of us, it was now our turn to look after him. So you see, that communication, that relationship with one-on-one is the best medicine. And what we're going to create now, what man has created, is a society that has going to be a lot more problems. So just be careful. How important your voice, that's how important you are to the coming faces. Your voice is so important. It is medicine. Your voice can bring a spirit up. Your voice can empower the saddest person by saying, I care. How are you today? What can I do? Because even when you say that, your body feels that energy from the heart, and it builds up your immune system. And so this is why medicine is in us. I am medicine. When I take care of myself, I am medicine. When I play, I am medicine. When I go visiting, I am medicine. And when I am sharing, I am medicine. So you see, when I'm with the land is me. Because if you look, in every part of our body is all the ingredients of the land. Now, even our bodies have become polluted. Our rivers, our bloods has been contaminated by so much chemicals. So we got to be careful, and it can affect how we think. So let's start by what? What do you think?
Who, me?
Yes. What can you do today?
Oh, well, I've already been singing because it's my daughter's birthday. And I went for a walk in a little bit of a rain. So, and yes, I'm with you. I think that everything you're saying is we need to do every day. A little bit of everything every day. So I don't know, is there something that you'd like me to do on this end?
Board games.
Oh, yeah.
That creates a stronger family.
Board games.
It builds up, it protects them to go out into the world, because a lot of the world has a lot of fear. And if a child knows that they're going to come home to laughter and fun, they look forward. And that's what home is. How many of you have created a home?
Mm.
A home is where there's laughter, where there's communication, and that's where you start bringing health, preventive health.
Beautiful. That's
That's
beautiful. Because I think everyone can do that.
home cooking.
That's great.
Because the fragrance builds up the immune system. It gives that good feeling. And having them also learning how to cook, knowing that they are part of giving you a medicine, and you always compliment them. And what does that do to them? It builds up their immune system. Doing things together, making cookies or making things together, a supper and that's what brings back life into to each of us, so that we can feel strong again, knowing that we are cared for. So it starts in the home. It starts at home.
Amazing. That's an amazing message for today. Like, I don't think that there is a better one. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. We have to start somewhere. And I think that, we do this, movements like this, or we try to move people into thinking differently or shifting and returning back to those basic values. And that's usually where it lies, right? Is those things that we know. And, our perception is what I'm thinking as, you're talking about the games and all of these man-made technology and things that have been added in our life to expand our perception. That's where we're getting lost. We're getting lost from what the perception that God gave us and the Creator gave us in our bodies, our senses. And technology has really pulled us away from being in ourselves and in our own ways. So bringing it back to those humble ways of being together in a home, it really resonates, Renee. So Nyawa for that message for me today, and for my baby girl who just turned 13.
Oh,
Right. So teenage. So this is a good time to remind her of, this is the next journey, and it's really important to connect with yourself and this wellness. And
so her birthday gift can be having her create a meal, because it's a gift for all. Plus, you're giving her the greatest gift. Is that survival skills, tools to help celebrate your life. Celebrate our life, because we are able to eat, celebrate our lives because we can do this, but most of all celebrate that you're here as a mother, as a father, and a roof over your head and food on the table, because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So our first program was we're looking at is how we lived before. All of us lived with families, and because of society, it has increased busyness, fastness, and so as a result, we're leaving people behind. And this is what is so important right now. Nurturing is the best medicine. So the first session we're going to do is talking about the environment, is that relationship with our mother, the earth. And then we're going to go into the seeds. And the next session will be on the roots. Each of them is a metaphor of our lives. And the next one will be our stem. And the last is the harvest. And I would like everyone to have good health. That is a wish of every grandmother and every mother and every father, is that their children do not have to have health problems.
So important. So important. Whew. Great messages today. Nyawa for sharing and being here and sharing your love and your voice and just knowing that something as gentle as this is really truly, I think, what people need to do. Just listen, be little message to remind you that it just to stay grounded in what the natural world actually provides for us. And then continue on this journey on our social media to stay connected and with PHAM 24. You can just Google the Wallace Wallace for Wellness. Thank you, Margret, for thinking of us, and for everyone else out there that is on their journey of self-care. Continue watching, and we'll see you soon. Nyawa, Grandmother Renee.
Yeah.